How's it going, guys? Sunday, just tad after 1 o'clock, and finally made it out here in the barn this morning, or just early afternoon. But I was going to give you a kind of a quick tour of what I've been doing lately, and what I'm planning on doing today is I'm tightening up the gaps between the door and the fenders, and on the rockers. When I was doing all that with the new fenders, I had to cut just probably about, I think it was almost a ½ inch between the rocker and the bottom of the fender. I guess when they was making these Camaros, they're probably not all the same, you know, like everything else, but the clearance on the doors to the fender with the original skin on the door and the original fender when I first bought the car, it was pretty wide, and I was like, I'm gonna try to get the clearances tightened up a little bit. So this is what I figured out. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm fixing to do. So this is on the passenger side, and it's probably about at least a quarter or less up here on top of the door, and then down here it tightens up a little bit more because of the way it opens. This side goes inside the fender first, and then on the top goes in kind of second. You'd have to actually see it to do it. But down here, this is where on both sides, I had to cut a sliver off the rocker. And now that I got it fitted where like I wanted it on the fender gap, I got to go back in and make a template on the rocker and weld a little piece in. I'm going to take you back on the other side and I'll show you what I'm doing over there. So, you can tell that where I cut the original bottom of the rocker to where how much I had to cut it on this side, it's probably a good ½ inch. And I'm gonna lay a piece of metal and tack all this together best I can, make it look pretty much factory, whatever, you know, try to duplicate what it looked like. But when they put these together, that's how big of a gap this was between the fender and the part of the edge of the door. And then on this, it was so rusty in there that I couldn't get the bottom bolt off when I first got it off. So I went back in there and welded another new nut on it. And the way it looks, I think I'm gonna leave this alone, kind of dress it up a little bit. But if something ever happens and I have to get back in there, I'm gonna have to cut that back out. This way it's already be cut out. That way, you know, I can get in there and get to it. Hopefully not, but one of these days. But this part is what I'm concentrating on, and I'm going to use some board I got at Dollar General to make a template out of it, and I can use that to cut my actual metal, form it, cut it, grind it, whatever you have to do. Then I'm gonna go back in and weld it all back in here again. So this ought to take a little bit of a time because I'm gonna do this side, and then I'm gonna work on doing the bondo and getting it all smoothed out. Door jambs, getting it all worked out, and then I've been working on some rust spots up here, and finally starting to get to the end of it, get it all sanded. But doing any kind of body work, you know, just it takes time. You can't get too big of a rush because your end product looks like crap. So that's where I'm at today. And actually the weather is kind of clear. Cooled down a little bit where it's not too bad, but it's still pretty warm. I'm gonna turn on the fans here in a little bit. So the process is slow, and I'm gonna kind of just work on it as I go. Get that tacked in, and then I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. If you guys got any ideas or anything like that, let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Sure do appreciate it. Well, I think this is 12 gauge piece of metal I got. I'm going to use this in my plasma cutter. I'm just going to hold it, cut it by hand. And this is the template I made. And this is going to fold so it'll match the part of the inner structure of the rocker panel. See how it goes? How this goes. It's kind of what I'm shooting for. Tighten up some gaps, move it around a little bit. Got this little add-on. I might cut that little pointy stuff off. Back. Got a 4-inch grinder. this is going to be exposed. I'm going to do a little bit different than what the factory did. Well, that's the piece I filled in right there. A little bit more grounded on that little piece. That's about it up front for that. All I want to do is make sure that there's a filter gap in some metal. This I'm going to leave open, and that, and even the factory down here, you can see it. This is all open from the factory. So I'm not going to be driving in no mud. This will be another place where I can actually wash stuff out. And the firewall on top, it comes down with the rain, and it actually dumps right down here from the factory on the cow. So I'm gonna do something on the cow later, because I'm gonna be driving this in the rain. I'm gonna probably put like a plate or something on it. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do on that. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more, and that I'm gonna call that baby done.